real tempo, but baby, you gotta ride my beat, and then we can put it in motion. Let your body say the words that you won't speak. She said, give me your boogie, babe. It's so healing, I wanna feel it. She said, give me your boogie, babe. It's so freeing, let me feel it. I wanna stay and catch this groove forever. Love you like I know better. Stay and catch this groove forever. Baby, don't you wanna feel it too? She don't wanna talk, she just wanna groove. Dance to the snatchers, pink and blue. Looks like fire, cold as ice. She the kind of girl that would change your life. Call her a threat cause she got the bomb. Type of woman sitting in the Parthenon. Ain't gon' trip but she can make me fall. Life ain't so bad, living off throughout. Jimi Hendrix, lime and some tonic. If you're gonna get down on it. If you wanna come, you should come with me. She said, look here, say RENE. I wanna stay and catch this groove forever. Love you like I know better. Stay and catch this groove forever. Baby, don't you wanna feel it too? She said, give me your boogie, babe. It's so healing, I wanna feel it. She said, give me your boogie, babe. It's so freeing, let me feel it. Hey, sugar, spent my whole life trying to get to you, honey. If you only knew the things that I've been through, but it ain't no thing, ain't worried about yesterday. Cause I wanna hold you, oh, what you say. Tell me, baby, can I be your lover? I'm waiting and not sure. You know that I've been waiting for you, and I never wanna leave you without you, baby. You know that I've been waiting for you, and I never wanna leave you without you, baby. I just love you, don't need a reason. I just need you, I want you around. Oh. Sweet like honey, but you got a little sting. Lavender lips, you my purple rain. Wise man once said money is time. Well, you can spend mine for the rest of my life. You plus me, that's a little something, something. I could put the F-U inside fun. What's a little sin? I ain't worried about none. Penance for my thoughts, you my salvation. I've been waiting for you, and I never wanna leave you without you, baby. You know that I've been waiting for you, and I never wanna leave without you, baby. Ooh, 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 ooh. My kind of love, I wanna love you. Ooh, 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 ooh. My kind of love, I wanna love you. I've been waiting for you, and I never wanna leave without you, baby. You know that I've been waiting for you, and I never wanna leave without you, baby. Ooh, 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 ooh. My kind of love, I wanna love you. Ooh, 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 ooh. My kind of love, I wanna love you. I just
everybody. We are live now for a great episode of Let's Get Activated podcast. This is episode number 160. We are live right now, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter X. We are also on Rockbox FM, Culture Shock Radio, Raptor Music FM, and Radio for Sale. We're reaching up to 191 countries. Shout out to the Village Global Network. Shout out to some countries. We got Spain, we got Germany, we got Jamaica, we got Nepal. We got everybody. So tonight, I want to introduce my special returning guest. We got singer, songwriter, musician, producer. We've got Saint Rene back here in the building.
Hey, hey, glad to be back.
Yes, it was such a dope vibe. I had to play some music, off of that Saint Rene EP.
Thank you.
It's definitely a dope EP for sure. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's been really special putting out this EP. It's my first small body of music underneath the name, and so I really loved it. And just people's responses to the music have been so positive that I truly can't I can't be more grateful than I already am, because it's just it means so much that people really like it. So it's a blessing, a super huge blessing for sure.
Definitely. I feel like you evolved into your own with it. Like you exude Saint Rene, the EP, matches you, the whole Saint Rene, the king of the groove, you got
Yeah.
us grooving on there. So do you kind of want to go over a bit of the creative process of that EP?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So when I had gone through a little bit of a tizzy under my last name and just a bunch of different things in the industry, and so I had to change my name and went this route, and it was really special to me because uh, I for a long time was doing thank you so much. For a long time I was doing like cover gigs and whatnot, and I would a lot of high energy music, and when I'm on stage and I'm performing, I really become someone else, way more aggressive, way more sexual, way more just like the little mini prince in me comes out or something. Like
Right.
a real performer comes out, and I'm not genuinely like that in real life. I'm a little more timid and chill. And so I've always kind of just thought that's my other person in there. And
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of where the Saint Rene idea came from. Like, what if I kind of dived into who that person was, what that little extroverted, funky, aggressive, sassy person was. And so that's kind of how I came up with a lot of the music for this. Also, I've been making pop music for so long. I wanted to do something that was really going to stretch me as an artist and really just push my personal boundaries. There was some stuff that I was presented musically from my producer, shout out Harley, that just kind of made me uncomfortable, and
Mm-hmm.
that is when I knew, okay, this is what I need to try because it's different, it's fresh, and it just again was reminiscent of just so many of my idols and musicians that have come before me that really pushed that boundary, um,
Mm-hmm.
i.e., Prince, Freddie Mercury, even a George Michael's, and so it just was something to me that I thought I have to do this for myself, in order to really grow my own personal artistry. And so we kind of went that route, a little more of a dance route, a little more electronic dance with a mix of funk and R&B and hip hop, and because those are the things that I really love. But I said, let me try and go the actual dance route. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and one of our songs gets a ton of plays out in Europe, and so that's really special too because that's a really incredible dance community out there, and so it's just it's been really awesome to try something different that I was scared to do and to see people really enjoy it and embrace it and consume it, cuz I could have just done something and it just been like, this trash. You know what I mean? And no
Right.
one liked
Right.
something, and so thank you so much. I appreciate that. He's one of my favorites. Um and so it was really special to be able to put something out, and people just really love it.
Definitely. And we gotta, give you some congratulations here because you got like 150K plus organic streams.
Um, and it's so wild too because for a long time I've tried so many different things. And that's just on one song, which is kind of crazy because and in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot. Like I personally know people with millions of streams, but
Mhm.
it's just for me, it's so special because I've never reached that kind of a number. And again, it's really special because it is organic. We did our best to advertise via Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and honestly, it kind of just caught wind on its own via Spotify. We watched as it organically ended up on thousands of people's personal playlist and then ended up Spotify radio. And it just bouncing back and forth. It would go all the way up and do a whole bunch of, numbers and then back down and then back up, would just to show that people were actually really interested in it. And so it's very, again, like I said, it's very special to be able to have something that, people enjoy, so but yeah, I'm super pumped. That
Mhm.
song is it's one of my favorite songs. So I don't know, it's just so awesome.
Yeah, you should be proud. And with it being organic, key word, I say organic. I stress, keeping it organic is just the best. You know what I mean? Your music does not get removed. You know what I mean? So you know what I
Absolutely,
mean? You
absolutely.
know,
Organic food and organic engagement, you know what I mean?
that's right. That's right. And then, kind of speaking like on the streaming services, what is your take on that? Do you feel like there needs to be constant releases and content?
It's tough, right? I really think that no, I don't. But it's
Mhm.
also tough because for some artists it really works. For some artists they can constantly just I know people that are in the studio, making 3 songs a day.
Mhm.
And they just put it out and they put it out and it does really well and that's always great. But I personally believe that we were never meant to consume art so quickly. I think that
Mhm.
technology, while it is such a great thing, streaming it's such an interesting dilemma because on one hand, it's like my baby brother who just moved out here to LA. He has a record player. And the other day I was there hanging out with him and I put on a record and I listened and then the record kind of stopped. And then I had to get up and go flip the record and then listen. And it was one of those things where I was like, man, this is kind of annoying,
Right.
compared to, let's say you put on a playlist and it just plays and it just goes. But it's also just like, be that as it may, that ability to consume constantly, while it is great for organic outreach and just being able to find people, it has created this weird precedent where artists feel like they have to constantly put out music. We have to put out a song every week or every month. And there's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with that if you are able to do that, but it leaves a lot of artists feeling almost left out or like they're not doing enough or and it's a really scary place because again, you look at like, and this is so cliche of me to say this, but you look at anything that's lasted forever, like the Sistine Chapel or Mona Lisa or something, and it's
Mhm.
like that was not made in 1 week, and then the next week there was a new piece put out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that was made over the course of years, and that's why people
Mhm.
still go to see it for years. And it's inspired countless other artists. And so I think it's one of those things where if you really take the time to create something that's very special, there's nothing wrong with taking your time. I
Right.
think that creating content to promote that is very important for sure. It is what it is. We live in a content driven age, and I understand that. But I don't believe in the constant creation of content or chasing content just to go viral. I know so
Right.
many people who have gone viral, personal friends, millions and millions of views and things. And it lasts for about a couple weeks, maybe a month, and then it just flatlines right back down. And that's cool because if you're able to capitalize it, great. But most people aren't really fully able to capitalize on it, and it
Mhm.
also creates this weird subculture of just like, give me more, give me more, give me more, and the audience doesn't really know what they want to begin with. That
Mhm.
heck, I don't always know what I want. You don't know, you know what I mean? And so for
Right.
us to think that we have to constantly feed this algorithm in people, but also, on our phones and whatever. It's just a dangerous place, I think, for art. And that's where not to get all like conspiracy theory or whatever, but
Mhm.
that's where you see like the resurgence, or not the resurgence, but like the creation of like AI and things like that, to where like if we get to the place where we're making art so quickly,
Mhm.
your art will be able to be replaced very easily. So if
Right.
you're making something that's really great, you're not going to be able to make that immediately. Sometimes you strike gold, but most times it takes time. It's a true craft. And what we're seeing is people are just pumping it, pumping it, pumping it. And that's why a computer can now do what a person can do when it comes to making music, or they can
Right.
manipulate a vocal. And so, it's just one of those things where I think it's a cool thing as far as outreach and finding people, but it's also very scary when you put into perspective that, art should be cherished and taking its time to cultivate it, really cultivate it. And yeah, it's just like I tell people, it's just like food. Like if
Mhm.
you really knew how the chicken on your plate was made and someone told you,
Mhm.
"Oh, yeah, we made that chicken in like a week and we fed it these hormones and fattened it up and then you're gonna probably look at it and be like, oh, I don't know if I
Right.
this.
Right.
But if someone told you, "Oh, no, the chicken lived a good life and was eating in the grass and the da da
Mhm.
da," you'd be like, "Oh, okay." I mean, yeah, you know what I mean? It wouldn't you would know that they came from a better source, so to speak. So, yeah, I think, it's a double-edged sword, but, it's here to stay, and so we do what we can as artists and producers and people, and, we just try our best, I think that that's all you can really do is just keep trying your best, and if you do that, there's nothing nobody can tell you, ever.
I agree. Being yourself and then let it, like you said, letting it marinate. You don't have to put out something every single week. Let that song marinate, because there's always going to be new listeners. It's going to always be new to somebody, let it marinate, and get that timeless. Let's get some timeless classics going again, like we grew up on. You know what I'm saying? Don't just like microwave it.
Yeah, no, I'm so true. There's a difference between popcorn and a steak and veggies, so, yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
It all has its
Exactly.
place, but yeah.
Exactly. And kind of going into that, what do you like? How do you feel about this current state that we're in of this music industry?
Girl.
It's like, girl.
Like I said, it's a bit of a double-edged sword, it's kind of it's so wild, especially living out here in LA and watching all this scandal lately coming out with just different people and execs and, they who shall not be named that are being, all sorts of craziness. And the thing is,
Yes.
the longer that I've been out here, the more I've realized just how people get into these pinches and how people do things is because this industry inherently is a great thing, right? It is I think of it as like, soil, and in this soil you could plant the right things. But I just see this soil being used so often to uproot, to create really poisonous situations for artists. I personally know artists that got signed and into crappy deals and got tossed back and forth and just so many different things, or attached themselves to somebody who then is in trouble and now their whole career is at risk. And so it's a little tumultuous, but it is one of those things where I think I tell everybody, especially people who are trying to move out here and kind of pursue music professionally, you have to go in with a proper vision and understanding of what it is that you want from this.
Mhm.
I think a lot of people try to approach art or even just their dreams in general, and it's just like, I want to be successful. And it's like, that's cool, but that could be so many different things. And so I think you taking the time to properly understand what is success to you, then you'll be able to get what you need out of the industry. Because right now the industry is it's a bit all over the place, they're constantly focusing, a few months ago it was content, content, content. Now I talk to A&Rs and people, the labels, and they're like, well, we think you should focus more on making an album and not as many singles. And it's just like, you guys told us for the last 4 years, 2 songs a month, and now
Yeah.
it's take your time and be an album artist. We want you to be an artist that has a legacy, and it's just funny, and so but again, that kind of goes back down to the audience. I think that it's one of those things where if you're an artist, any kind of creative, it's like you don't immediately need to make something with the audience in mind. Like, I'm going to do this because I know people are going to like it. I think
Mhm.
that key here is I think we as creatives need to create better audiences, better experiences for the audiences. Apologies. Because if we do that, then that's where we're going to see audiences' retentions go back into wanting to have stuff of quality. A lot of that talk was recently with a lot of these big movies that are like 3 hours long and they're all talking movies, but yet they're almost making $1 billion. And it's again because if something is of really great quality, people will sit through it, people will consume it, people will enjoy it because they can see the care that goes into what you're doing. And so I think with the industry, it's right now it's been at such a place of people not really caring. It's really
Yeah.
fast, recyclable, let's get it in, get it out, as much money as possible, kind of gold rushing it with this whole TikTok
Mhm.
thing. And now I feel as though within the next couple of years, we're going to start to see it flatline a bit and the playing field's kind of level. And
Mm-hmm.
we're going to start to see artists that are really special, not necessarily special, but different, start to shine versus the regular, just pop stars and content that we've
Right.
been used to for so long. So yeah, it's a lot, and it is definitely it can be a struggle at times, but it's also a beautiful thing. I really believe that people who come out here, they really thug it out and they really push in and press through, they can really get something great from this industry. And you only need to do it for so long, and then you can kind of stick with it for forever. I think your dreams and the things that you want in this life require sacrifice. And if you're willing to do what it takes to get to the place that you should be at as an artist and as a creative, the sky's the limit at that point. And you can really, as long as you don't give up who you are and your integrity along the way, like nobody can say anything about that or about you. So yeah.
That's a fact. And, giving that quality over quantity.
That's it, man. It's again, and that goes back to the whole, wanting to just pump something out. It's like if you can make a body of work that's really quality, can move somebody to like tears, that's when that it's just like this is the right thing. I took my time and I made this and I'm giving it to the world. And if it doesn't blow up or do whatever, then that's fine too. Like you did it. And 10, 15 years from now, you could go back and somebody could be talking about like it was the greatest thing ever, and there's so many albums that
Mm-hmm.
I remember from when I was a teenager, and now people talk about them like they were the greatest things. But when I was a kid, everyone's like, it's trash, it's not good. And it's just like, oh, well, now look, and so that's the beauty of it, especially with being a creative, is it's not up to you. You make what you make and you give it to the world and let them decide what it means to them, because you already know what it means to you.
Definitely. And it's, taking your own risk, but being comfortable with it.
That's so true. I love artists that take risks. That's just, yeah, it's just
Mm-hmm.
nothing like that. It's nothing like seeing that.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of an artist who took risks, Beyonce, her new album.
Man, that was so good. It was so, I don't know if you've heard it, but I really, really enjoyed it. It was a little long for me,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just so beautiful. I was telling somebody, regardless of how you feel about her or whatever, it's just there's not a lot of artists alive at her caliber that put that much care into their craft.
Mm-hmm.
When you see, like when you go back and you watch videos of like Michael or Prince or these people or Stevie or any of these people in the studio, you see how much they care about what they're doing and how dedicated they are to their craft. And it obviously shows in the music because the music's so great, but you can clearly see it. And with her, the one thing that I will never really I'm not like part of the Beehive or anything, but one thing I'll never understand is when people are like, she's not talented. And it's like, no, it's very clear as day that this person is extremely talented. They might
Mm-hmm.
not be your cup of tea, and that's fine. And everything's not
Right.
for everybody. But it's just, man, that album was so moving to me just because, like, especially as a singer too, because these days, girl, they just be letting anybody sing,
They do.
thinking they can sing. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so special to be able to see someone who's also, by the way, her age,
Mm-hmm.
because that's another thing too. Like, she's not up there, but like for
She's
regular pop
42. She's my age. Yeah, we
for
42.
a
Yeah.
regular pop star, they have us out here thinking, you got to be like 20 years old to make it. And it's like, this girl's 42
Yeah.
making music that I expect from a 22-year-old, risks that I expect from a 22-year-old. And that's just so special because, again, like, artists of her caliber no longer do that. Like recently, one of my personal favorite artists, Justin Timberlake, I listened to his album and it wasn't good. It wasn't good. It was
Mm-hmm.
very uninspired to me. It was very boring. It was very like, what have I done before? Let me do it again.
Right.
And it's one of those things where I appreciate when an artist who could just do that, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
could just make Single Ladies 2.0, could just make whatever, right? Crazy in Love point 7, like, goes and does something of this caliber is just so impressive to me because why? There's
Mm-hmm.
no there's no answer to the why except for you must really love what you do and you must really be about your craft to be able to be like, nah, I'm putting all this to the side and I'm gonna go do this. And then it's also just dope too, because I think a lot of people, especially people who listen to country music, don't understand the roots of country and who it really comes from and where it comes from. And
Yep.
so it's so dope to be able to not necessarily see someone kind of take back the meaning, but to be able to play in that space and be like, hey, by the way, like this was always this.
Yep.
Let's not get it twisted. Like it's been fun. Y'all been killing the game, but this was always this. And so I thought it was a beautiful album, beautiful experience. I thought it was so fun and just, yeah, I don't know. I really can't wait to see what she does for this third album. It's going to be incredible. I hope.
Yes. 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 She working, girlfriend is really working, like she's,
Yes.
nonstop.
Listen, one of us has to do it.
Yep. Somebody got to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, might as well be her. I'm too tired.
You said I'm too tired.
When I start getting paid when she gets paid, then I'll be able to do that.
Right. Then you'd be like, all right, them dollars are coming. So maybe I'll be a little bit untired and get to it. I feel
Listen,
you there.
I'll be 62. This ain't Texas.
Right. Look, though, she might be, 62 still doing her thing, like, remember how Miss Tina Turner, rest in
Well,
peace.
and you have to really think, man. Tina Turner's DNA runs in Beyonce.
Yeah.
I think that's a line in her last album, Renaissance, where she's like daughter of Tina something else, Tina, like a double entendre to the fact that her mother's name is Tina, but also like she is a daughter of Tina Turner. It's like so cool. So yeah, absolutely. You can see it all across her DNA. So it's a beautiful thing.
Definitely.
To me, she's the Michael Jackson of this generation. So
Yep.
Yeah, I think she's incredible.
Yep. She's doing her thing. And so back to you. So you've kind of done something kind of new. You've been doing these vlogs lately on your YouTube channel.
Yeah. It's been a really special experience. Kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier, as an artist, and I'm now 32, it's kind of tough to just be on the internet and be like, check out my new song, guys. Like,
right.
I don't like being that person. And so I was kind of hanging out with my homies and I was like, what is something that we can do that is fun, still inherently me, not corny or cringy, but still gets to showcase the music and also like how we make the music and how we do what we do. And we kind of came across the idea, well, what if we did music vlogs where we could kind of showcase us here creating from scratch, just doing our regular things throughout the day. And I said, yeah, let's do it. And I've always been, even from back when I was in Tampa, I've always been someone who recorded everything, just because in my mind I was gonna be on an HBO documentary one day and be like super famous or something.
Right.
So I was like, I can get, because when I make it big, I'm gonna have that footage.
Right. Yeah, you never know, right?
No, listen. It ain't if, it's when. And so the thing is I said, well, why don't we just try that? And we honestly have been having the time of our lives making all these vlogs. Shout out Fred. It's just been such an incredible experience, just being able to capture all of this that we're doing and keeping it there, because again, like when things start going down the road and whatnot, I believe it'll be so beautiful to be able to look back and be like, oh, they were working on that song. Oh, that's so cool. That's how they did. And so I've always loved that about artists that I, grew up watching, but also movies. I loved being a child and watching the making of movies.
Yeah.
One of my favorites as a kid was I used to watch the making of Jurassic Park. And I'd watch it almost more than the movie because it was just so interesting to see how people got to the main thing. Like, what was the vision that brought them to what I eventually ended up consuming? And so we all kind of thought the same thing. We've just been jumping into it. And so this first season, I'm treating them like TV seasons. This first season of thank you so much. This first season of all the vlogs is coming to a close this Friday. And then we'll be coming back to it in a few months. We're doing a bunch of recording now. I'm currently in the studio. I've been in the studio all day today. And so, yeah, we've just been working on all the stuff that's coming up, and I'm just excited. I'm excited to keep rolling them out and to keep showing people a little taste into our world. I think that's another thing too is social media. For me, I honestly hate social media. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not good at it. It's hard
Mhm.
for me to share a lot of my life online to strangers. And I mean, obviously, I have like my aunts and uncles and people on
Right.
Instagram or whatever, but
Right.
you know, so I think that we live in a time where people believe everything is for everyone, and I don't believe that. I believe that some things have to be for you, and so for me the vlog is cool because it gets to show pieces of my life to people, and it just gives them just what I want them to see and to experience, and the rest of it can stay for me. There's been plenty of times where I've been here hanging and we've been playing dominoes or just chilling, and I'm like, should I be recording this? And it's like, no, like be here, be in the moment, enjoy this. And that's something I've had to learn because I'll be out and about or doing something, and I see people on their phones, and I find myself being guilty too of being like,
Mhm.
take a picture of this or record this, and it's like we really only get one chance to do this life. It doesn't matter what you believe in, like, we will die one day. And
Yeah.
I think that we have to be able to enjoy our every moment that we have now and not just live those moments through our phone, but live them
Right.
through our literal eyes. And so, yeah, I think the vlogs have been really fun for me in that regard, is that I've been able to kind of give people a little piece of my world without compromising me needing to be online all the time and giving people everything about me. And it also gets tricky too because that's how some people get hurt. Like this week, Lizzo had put up that post about I quit. People are always trashing me. And it's like,
Mhm.
it's so tough because on one hand, it's like, man, I feel for her. But on the other hand, it's like you put your entire life out there for people to see. And it's just like people want to watch people fail. People want to watch people mess up. And it's just like, I don't, I'm good. Like I don't want
Right.
I just want to give y'all what I feel like you guys need to see, and the rest is mine. So but yeah, it's been such a fun time, and I'm like, super excited to keep pumping these out. We have so much fun content on the way. It's crazy. I'm pumped.
Yeah, and it's fun, and it's like, it's transparent too, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So because it's a side, that, like I said, you weren't showing before, so you've kind of, opened up a little bit more to yourself.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I get to be like personal, but not like weirdly
Mm.
personal,
Right,
where people like, I know this guy. It's like,
right, a little weird there, yeah.
like, no, you don't. You might see me on the street, but homie, you don't know me.
Yeah, yeah, know me like that. Let's keep a little, a little bit of space and distance. I feel you.
But yeah, but it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Nice. And then so, as of late, because I know you're kind of tapping in with artists too. Are there any like new artists, that you're kind of digging or listening to?
Hmm. New artists that I'm digging or listening to right now. It's so funny. Not too many. If you, yeah, not too many um new artists. As much as I've actually been going back and really finding a lot of old music.
Mhm.
When I grew up in a very sheltered household. I was a pastor's kid, and so I really wasn't allowed to listen to a lot of secular music. And so I didn't really dig into music like that as a child. I kind of just listened to whatever was presented to me. And so now I've been able to kind of go back and really listen to albums that I missed growing up, or albums that people find as so important that for some people they listen to, earlier in their life. Like I tell people all the time, I didn't hear Prince's Purple Rain until I was 18 years old in college, like because it just wasn't something that was available to me.
Right.
Also too, again, going back to what I was saying, streaming services, right? Like when I was a
Mhm.
teenager, we didn't have Apple Music or Spotify, so you had to buy music, so I wasn't I didn't I was a kid. I didn't have no money to be buying.
Right.
Now the one plus side to streaming is, I'm able to go and consume all this music and go backwards and find some really special gems. And there's just been so much great music that I find. I love when I'm like on people's playlists, or when I'm just digging through different, selections of songs, and I find a song and I'm like, man, this is cool. And I click on the artist, and it's like this artist who was once famous, no longer
Mhm.
famous, and has like 3,000 streams, but it's a song that I've heard on a commercial somewhere, and it's just like, wow, it's so crazy. And so right now I've been doing a lot of like looking backwards um at the music that kind of came before me, and really
Mhm.
just studying what worked, studying what didn't, studying kind of like what I like to take from it. Um because I just think that that's how you build a better sound and a better future moving forward. There's nothing wrong with, just fully going full speed ahead at the future, but there is something so special about taking the time as an artist to look back at who and what came before you and
Mhm.
really be able to implement that into your music moving forward.
That makes a lot of sense, because, we have grown up on so many great artists, and I believe they gave us so much. So if we're kind of taking bits and pieces from them, it's kind of carrying on their legacy, in
Exactly.
respects to their art. You know what I mean?
No, it's exactly that, and I think that that is absolutely what it should be. I feel like that's the way that you keep this alive. Is really going back and doing the research on who and what came before you, and taking little pieces of that and like sprinkling it in. It's like when you cook, like
Mhm.
if your parents give you an old recipe, you're never gonna be able to cook it like mom does. But at the end of the day, it's just enough that you remember what that felt like and what it was
Right.
to be 8 years old, sitting at the table and just like, oh man, it's so good. It's just like, and so I think that it's the same thing with music. I think being able to put that into music is just as important, so that you can still have that little bit of retro nostalgic feel, but be able to craft something that really brings people into the future of your personal sound and genre. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, today, as of late, what's inspiring you lately?
It's so interesting. The thing that's actually been inspiring me lately, and this is I apologize for getting deep all of a sudden, but like it's just getting older. Um,
Mhm.
I wake up and I have little like white hairs in my beard, and I'm just like, what? The other day I had a moment. I had a really long day, and I just sat there and I was like, I'm getting older. And at first, I wanted to get so sad and, like, depressed about it. I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die." Like, but the other half of it kind of
Mhm.
came to me, and it was like, "Man, what a beautiful life." I think
Mhm.
lately my phrase that I've been kind of telling everyone is just like, "It's a good life." And I just tell people that, like, I'll be doing something, I'm just like, "It's a good life." And I have to remind myself that too, because things are tough right now. Things are expensive, it's hard, we're all overworked and underpaid in so many different ways across the board. It doesn't matter if you're in music or everything. And I think it's one of those things where we have to consistently remind ourselves that this is a good life. And so for me right now, it's been just aging and watching other people get older has really been teaching me, hey, you're not going to be here forever. So really take advantage of the time that you do have, really enjoy it, really do right by people, really do right by yourself by
Yeah.
putting yourself first and chasing after what you want, which is why I've always, I think, vibed with you, is just because you as a person could have easily just, fallen into regular 9 to 5 and just been like, I'm just gonna stay here and be cozy. And to watch you pursue something as not safe as what you're doing has been so cool. And I love being able to see people like you do that, because
Thank you.
it's just, again, you have one shot and you're taking it, and that's so special, and that's so important to be able to do. And so I think that's really what's been inspiring me the most right now. It's just been like watching people age, and aging myself has really just got me in a place where I'm like, you know what, man, I gotta do it. So many things that I thought I was going to do by now, like
Mhm.
get signed or have a certain level of fame and fortune and blah blah blah, whatever I thought for my own life, I don't have. And that's okay, because now I'm realizing, like, but what I do have is still just enough time, which I really don't have, right? Like, we don't really have time because you never really know when it's your time. But
Right.
the idea of like, okay, I still do have time to try and do this, so I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna get right to it. I'm gonna jump right into it and not waste any more time um just sitting by. And I encourage anybody who has a dream or anything that they're chasing after, chase like or anything that they've been stewing on, or just like, I should be doing this. Do it. Go after it. It doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter if it's shaky grounds. Figure out ways to make it happen, because you really only do this once, and you don't want to be 80 at the end of it all, like, oh man, I should have did this, versus, having a life that may not be the most cozy. You may not be the most rich, you may not be the most whatever, but you'll look back and you'll be like, man, that was a hell of a ride. That was a good life. And that's all I want. I want to be able to do that. I want to, for some people, it's the whole, like, when you go to heaven and God's like, well done, good and faithful servant. It's like, that's so great. And I love that for you. But I also want to be able to say that to myself. I want to say, well done, Josh. Like, you did that, and I think if I can get both of those, I'll be chilling,
You'll be good. Yeah, you'll be good to go. I look at it as age, it's a blessing to be here. There's people that don't make it to the ages that we are. So, each new day we wake up is a blessing, and we just keep living and moving and elevating. Like you said, we don't know what time is our time, but just got to keep doing it. If you're passionate about something, do it. So at least, like you said, when you're 80, you're not old having regrets. Like, dang, I wish I would have did that. Nope. Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah, my friend Lisa, she always says to me, age is a privilege denied to many. And that's just so real, because it's just like, man, that's true. It's so funny. The other day I was at the store, and I was checking out groceries, and there was this girl there, and she was bagging the groceries, and she was like, some, and she old as hell. And I was like, how old is she? And she was like, she's 30. I was like,
well, damn. Well, damn.
I was like, bless your heart. I said, and I looked at her and I was like, I feel you. I was like, just remember, one day you're going to be 30 and you're going to be in the grocery line, and some girl's going to be like, they're old as hell.
Wow. That's wild. Like just to think, like to me, 30 is young, super young,
exactly. And that's the thing. And that's why I think it's been something that's inspiring me, because as much as I think to myself, oh my God, it's over, it's also just like, man, I'm 30. That means that no matter what, if I take care of myself, I still got another 40 in this piece.
Yeah.
That's a long time. Because then I think back to me being the 15-year-old and being like, man, 30 is so old. And if that's the case, and I'm 32 now, that means that 55 is old, right? Even though it's not, if you take care of yourself, it's really not even that old. So it's just like, I'm excited. I'm excited for this next chapter. I'm excited for what's to come. And I've been inspired by the fact that there is more to come. And I don't know what it is, but it's going to be so great.
Yes, it is. Well, speaking of some things to come, you are working on a new album, no?
I'm officially working on my first album. It's so crazy to say, because back to what I was saying earlier, I really thought I was going to get signed and have this big budget to make an album and all this stuff, and this is gonna be on a magazine and so on and so forth. And I told myself, look, I got to do this now. I had no better time than the present to make my first album. And so I'm so pumped to announce that, yes, we're going to be making our first album. The first single drops this summer. And I'm so pumped. It's music that it's really special for me, because the first Saint Rene EP was kind of pushing me to try something different. And it really pushed my boundaries and my limits. But this album is special because while it is still very much so that, it's also very much so a little piece of all that came before, like a real deal hearkening back to my days as Joshua Cruz, at very pop, very R&B. And I'm excited for it, because it feels almost like a homecoming to me. It feels like I took a long way around, and I'm getting right back to where the center is, and right back to where I'm supposed to be. And I'm so excited for it. And yeah, it's gonna be great. So I sent you the first song. What do you think of that?
I like it. It's groovy. It's got that funk and that groove to it, which you have, kind of grown into and become, which we have that, I do have the song, locked in. So
let's play it, and then we'll talk about it.
So it's gonna be a dope one. What I was gonna have you do, I was gonna have you talk about it, and then we close out the show with it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
That's what yeah.
Perfect. So the song itself, I was inspired by I was listening to some Herbie Hancock, speaking of going back, and there was this one beat that it was just like this feel like, and I was just like in the car. There's no words to the song, and I'm just like in the car, kind of just like jamming, whatever. And then I was kind of just like, I don't know, hey, what you came to do, but I came to get down. It's funny because it was a riff on, there's this old gospel song, probably not that old actually, it's probably from like the 2000s or something, or 1990s, and it's I think it's BB Winans, and he's just like, I don't know what you came to do. It's like, no.
Yeah.
And I used to, growing up in church, they used to play that song, and that was something that I was just like, all week long, I'd just be like, oh no, what you can, and I was like, man, that'd be so cool if I could do the same thing, but like at a live, function, right? And
Right.
just like be like, listen, I don't know what y'all came to do, but I came to get down. And so we wanted to build something that was very much so a little bit of like jazz and in the past, but also still very much so electro and funky for right now. So we didn't want to just straight up create like another jazz song. It's like, okay, well, what if we had electro bass and 808s and all these different little things that could really take it to right now, so that it doesn't feel like, oh, they're just trying to do the Silk Sonic thing or whatever. And so I really think we were able to come up with something so crazy. Two of my old bandmates were in town in Los Angeles on tour. And one day I hit them up and I was like, y'all, I need you guys in the studio today. And they slid through, and we wrote and made this song in 45 minutes.
Dope.
And we just like pounded it out, and it was just such a thrilling experience, which, by the way, if you want to watch that, it's on the vlogs, so go check it out on the vlogs and you can see how we made this song. But yeah, it was so fun and so exciting, and just adding different layers to it and levels. And we're going to be remixing it again today, adding some more little extra things to it, so I'm so pumped for that. But yeah, that's gonna be the first single. It comes out this summer, so everybody be on the lookout. I'm thinking like a probably July-ish date. We're gonna come out with a video. It's gonna come out with merch. We're gonna just do the whole shebang. So everybody, keep on a lookout on my IG, TikTok, so on and so forth. The Saint Rene. And I'm super excited, and I just want to say thank you so much for having me on here yet again. It's been an absolute blast and a blessing, and we got to do this again in a few months. I'll be able to play all the songs for you.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to talk about the project, and it'll be awesome. But thank you for, again, not only having me on here, but just doing this for all of us artists, and taking your time and sacrificing of your time and your life to be able to create platforms and spaces for us to be able to talk about our music. Many of us may never see the heights of, let's say, a Beyonce or something, but to be able to do something like this really makes us feel seen and special. And I really deeply appreciate that, because no matter what, I know that, there's people out there that support me, and that means the world to me. So thank you for that.
Oh no, you're more than welcome. I appreciate your support and everything as well. Like I said, Activated, it's a community. Everybody is supporting each other, and I gotta let all the watchers know, definitely follow Saint Rene, at the Saint Rene, follow that, go to the bio. He has a link tree where there's the YouTube channel. You guys can subscribe to that too. That's a big thing, subscribing to the YouTube so they can see your vlogs too.
Absolutely. Please check it all out. Let me know what you guys think about it. Subscribe, like it, all of that stuff. And if you really love it, definitely share it with your family and friends. And yeah, I'm so beyond excited for everything. So thank you again, Sam. I really appreciate it. New single coming out. It's called Came to Get Down. And go ahead and you spin that thing.
I sure will. So, this was a dope episode of Let's Get Activated podcast. Thank you again, Saint Rene, for returning onto the show. Thank you to all the wonderful viewers. Much love to everybody. And we're going to close it out with Came to Get Down. Let's go.
Let's go.
I don't know what you came to do, but I came to get down, down, down. I said, I don't know what you came to do, but I came to get down, down, down. Get down, down to the groove. Why you looking so blue in the red bottom shoes? God made them pretty ass legs so that they can move. And if I read correctly, you say he made me for you. If it's ashes to ashes and dust to dust, how you gon' have an ass like that and I strut? How you gon' hear a groove like this and I bust? A move or two, you made me swoon. I don't know what you came to do, but I came to get down, down, down. I said I don't know what you came to do, but I came to get down, down, down. Get down just like that. You don't need permission, baby, throw that ass. Not too much sugar, you just need a dash. And if you wanna taste, all you gotta do is ask. Oh, she driving me insane. Oh, I don't need to know your name. Just let me inside your brain. You'll be glad I came to hold up, hold up. I'm so sorry, baby. I don't know what came over me there. I apologize. Let me try this again. A guitar, sing. Baby, who let you out the house looking so goddamn fine? You know that thing right there, that's a legally registered weapon, baby. You better put that away, you finna hurt somebody. Oh, you got the boogie to the beat. I got the ooh, what's it gonna be? You got the boogie to the beat. And I got the ooh, hey, I don't know what you came to do, but I came to get down, down, down. I say I don't know what you came to do, but I came to get